But let's get some questions here on the show. Or
reviews.
Or reviews.
We've got 17 programs to talk about.
Well, you ended up watching, I saw Rampage, and then I saw the pay-per-view, obviously.
Yes.
I didn't watch SmackDown. You watched SmackDown?
Well, not really. Not really. Because here's what I was at the Memphis airport in the day of the Jerry Lawler Hulk Hogan match in 1981 in the Coliseum. And I was shooting pictures of Lawler around town in Memphis for a magazine spread, stuff that we were going to sell on the merchandise tables and everything. But this guy came up to him in the airport, obviously recognized him. Lawler went went to the Delta counter, and no, it was Northwest because there was a Northwest hub, Memphis, and just said, "Hey, can I get on a plane, take some pictures?" Oh, it's Jerry Lawler, and they took us in the cockpit of a fucking 747 that was sitting, that wasn't leaving at that point, and I've got pictures of Lawler flying the fucking 747 in the cockpit. Right, it was on the ground, but. Anyway, guy recognized him. We were walking through, and he starts talking to him. He said, "Well, my kids, they watch the wrestling. I don't watch that much, but I'm walking through the living room whenever they're watching it. I see some things." And then he proceeded to recount everything in chronological order that Lawler had done for the last 5 years. And Lawler said, "You must walk through the fucking living room a lot." But anyway, I was walking through the TV room Friday night, at like 8:15 or whatever, and because I was DVRing SmackDown, it had popped up, it was on the screen. I hadn't been watching TV in that room, but I see Heyman, and I see the interview that he does, and I said, okay, I have to, without fail, watch the rest of this show just to see anything else that Paul Heyman does, because that was fucking brilliant. I loved it. So I went back on Sunday when I didn't have to worry about fucking monitoring my website. And I zipped through to find things of interest in SmackDown. Because after all, now there's competition on Friday nights, even if they're not head-to-head. It's Friday night wrestling program. So let's see what's going on both sides of the street, right? We got one side, we got chicken. The other side, we got hamburgers. Let's see which one is tastiest. So... And by the way, I'm grumpy because now I'm at 7-ounce cans on the Sprite, folks. The Sprite Zero shortage continues. Anyway, on SmackDown on September 3rd, the Usos took on the Street Profits in a tag team match in the opening match, and they started having a fight on the floor. The referee called for the DQ. And people even in the building were like, what the fuck is that all about? But Roman Reigns is not happy, and he's going to tell Paul to, bring me the Usos, right? So this is when Paul E. walks out, and he's talking into his cell phone. Boy, I wish he'd have hit me with the phone he's got now instead of the fucking phone he had in 1989. God damn. Anyway, he's surprised by the girl interviewer, and I can't remember her name, and she never gets a chyron to ID her lower third or anything, but she scares him, comes up behind him, and he gives one of the most brilliant performances. As soon as he starts talking to her, his phone starts ringing Brock Lesnar's theme music. And he looks at it like he's suddenly realized he's got a giant turd in his hand. And she's there, and he hits the button where he's not going to answer it, and he's trying to play it off, and then it rings back immediately, right? And he answers it and has a one-sided conversation that would make Bob Newhart eat his fucking heart out. You heard what Brock Lesnar was saying and the way he was saying it based on the responses or humana-humanas or facial expressions or just the way that Paul did this. I can't do it justice, but it was brilliant. And it didn't look phony. It didn't sound funny. It looked like an uncomfortable hype man Slimy on his telephone talking to a disgruntled client who he knows is going to cause trouble for his current client. Anyway, that was brilliant. And then he turns around to walk off and runs into Big E in a janitor's outfit, laughing maniacally for some reason and holding his Money in the Bank briefcase, and that ruined the whole mood. But until then, Paul Heyman is a genius. That was amazing. Becky Lynch did a promo live in the ring. She's over, but I don't really care. Bianca Belair, who she just fucked around at SummerSlam, right? Or SummerSham, or whatever it was. She comes, yeah, SummerSham. She comes out to the ring laughing and skipping to get in the ring and then talk to the girl that screwed her out of the belt, and I still don't care. Dolph Ziggler was in the back, and he's hitting on Toni Storm, offering to let her sit in his corner, but she's rooting for Boogs. You know Boogs. Boogs or Booger? I think we ought to call him Booger, the guitar player. The lost Powell cousin. There was Gomer, there was Goober, and there's Booger. Boogs played the guitar, and I emergency fast forwarded. Nakamura came out and was having more seizures.
Emergency fast forwarded?
Emergency fast forward. I was afraid that I would catch the seizures from Nakamura. Booger beat Ziggler flat in the middle of the ring in 1 minute and 30 seconds. He only did 3 offensive moves, and all of them looked like he was doing them for the very first time. And thanks for coming, Dolph Ziggler. Rollins had a match with Cesaro, and suddenly everything picked up. Everything picked up as far as the pace and the action and the level of work. Those guys look great. It would have been better if they were somewhat more over because of the rotten booking, especially that they've done with Cesaro and this whole blasé television program they were on. But Cesaro had a great comeback. People were with him. He did like a 20 fucking revolution big swing. And Rollins rolls out on the floor, and Cesaro rolls out and goes to give him that charging uppercut forearm, and Seth Rollins hits him with a chair. DQ, ding, ding, ding. I felt like Shitstain was booking this. They'd had like 3 matches, and 2 of them were disqualifications. And then Rollins hits him several more times with a chair, breaks the chair support off. Remember when they were doing that thing with him and Edge? He breaks the chair support off the metal rod then and crossface Cesaro with it. Nobody's ringing a bell. No referees are coming out. No security. There's no jeopardy. Then a few referees come to the ringside and just wave their arms from the floor and like, no, no, no. Oh, don't hurt him, Andy. The storm's coming. And then he curb stomped him after he'd done all that while everybody's just watching him do it. And then he gets another chair, and 3 referees have rolled in the ring now, but have to bail out like he's goddamn Abdullah the Butcher with a fucking fork and wave their arms some more. And Cesaro has to continue to act like he's completely unconscious and immobile so he can get his head put on a chair. And then finally, Edge runs out with a chair and Rollins bails. They could have taken 2 minutes out of the middle of that where nobody gave a fuck because it was going on forever with a slow pace and wouldn't end, and just had him threaten to bash the guy's brains in and let Edge come out and save him, and it might have flowed a little bit. But are you sorry you missed this so far?
You know, the more you talk about it, the better AEW sounds and looks.
Well, we'll get there.
Other than Heyman and Roman, I mean, there are certain guys on that show that are top flight stars in any era of wrestling and are performing at an elite level. I hate to use that word, but at an elite level right now. And Heyman, of course, is just, I mean, he's an all-time great at this point. And Roman Reigns is really great. And typically whoever Roman's been working with, it's been pretty good. But everything on the show to get to that point sucks. And it's just excessive silliness. Even when there's something serious, it has to end with the silliness. Like you said, Big E's in the hallway fucking a mop or whatever you said he was doing.
Dressed as a janitor. Actually, we don't know what he was doing with the mop because we only caught the tail end of it. But
it's a hard show to get through, and you watch it and you know the realities of who's watching. And you see who's in the audience, and you just wonder, who are they actually doing this show for? I mean, you know the answer. The answer is Vince. This is a show. This whole production's all for Vince's enjoyment. But it's not good. By and large, other than the top of the card stuff, It's not good. It's not good at all.
Well, speaking of which, we go back to the locker room of the tribal chief. And he's sitting in this big chair, Reigns is, and Paul is on his knees like he's at confession on the side of the chair, leaning over. My tribal chief, we have a problem with Brock Lesnar. And Reigns says, you've got a problem with Brock Lesnar. And Paul says, Brock Lesnar is going to be at Madison Square Garden next Friday night. Right? Very good episodic television.
Why, are Nickelback playing?
No, that's where the Smackdown is.
Oh.
But see, they've already announced that. So I'm sorry I didn't make that clear. But anyway, when he says Brock's going to be at Madison Square Garden next Friday night, then Reigns is smiling, but then all of a sudden he starts looking more serious and he says, how do we know he's not here tonight? Dun, dun, dun. So I'm well, let's see what's going to happen.
By the way, without seeing it, I can visualize Heyman the way you described it.
Yes.
Like I said, he's just the greatest. He's an all-time great.
It's the grovel. He's just a deferential to this man in every way.
He always knows what he should do. No matter what situation he's in, he knows what he should do.
If it doesn't involve going off his feet, because then it gets ugly real quick.
Or returning money, yes.
It turns into football fucking monkey area real quick. But anyway, that was followed by In the Ring, the Kevin Owens show, where he's wearing his T-shirt with a tie, so you know it's a big deal. And out comes Happy Corbin. He's pulled up in the Rolls Royce or whatever, and out comes Happy Corbin. And I'm just sitting there, and obviously I'm not going to watch this whole thing because it went for a while. But I said, Kevin Steen didn't like the way he was booked in Ring of Honor. Well, be careful what you get upset about. He ought to weigh 400 pounds now from eating those words. And so basically he has to do this bit with a Happy Corbin. Then Logan Paul comes out. He's the YouTube fellow, right?
Yeah.
And his brother is the boxer? Or what's going on there? There's two of them?
They become fighters. One of them, and I actually don't know which one is which, one of them was on one of the Disney Channel shows my kids used to watch. And then the other one was his brother, and they both developed a following doing their own YouTube stuff. And then they got into trouble because I don't even know exactly what, but they put some stuff on their channel that they shouldn't have, and YouTube yanked them, I think, for a while. And then they went into boxing or MMA, and now they're worldwide celebrities, but they're kind of like, I don't know what the fuck they did. They create content that I never watch.
Well, some way or another, Kevin Steen got laid out flat of his face by a YouTube fuck and Baron von Raschke's wasted sperm with absolutely no rebuttal here. So that's the way that segment ended up.
So I didn't get to see this. Any notes on Happy Corbin? We've been watching the transition from a Baron to a Possum King to a man struggling and down and out.
Well, no, he won money in Las Vegas. That's why he's happy now, because now he's rich. This is fucking, I'm not going to, good God, I might as well watch the fucking, Muppet Show or fucking Nickelodeon or whatever the fuck. This is childishness. I don't care what he did. Sami Zayn had the next match. Boy, that's a karma there. Steen followed by Generico. Sami Zayn against Dominic Mysterio, and it's Zayn actually beat Dominic and won. So it's apparently just Steen that they're fucking with, seriously. Finn Balor did a promo talking about Roman Reigns because that's our TV main event, and they reminded us that he was the first ever Universal Champion when they made two world champions. He was the first ever Universal Champion 5 years ago, 2016, but he hurt his shoulder in that match and had to forfeit the belt the next night. And now he's finally getting his chance, and that still didn't make anybody think that he was going to beat Roman Reigns and win the title right here on SmackDown TV. However, I'm a fan of Finn Balor's, and we've been enjoying Reigns' stuff, and I want to see if Brock Lesnar does show up now that I've had my taint tickled about it, right? But as soon as Balor's making his entrance, he comes down the ramp, the Usos attack him. They kick the shit out of him on the floor. They throw him into the fucking barricade and then take the I believe didn't they beat him up with the metal stairs? And yeah, they took the metal stairs and rammed them repeatedly into Finn Balor's midsection while he's against the barricade and effectively squishing him. And then they threw him in the ring. And then music played and the Street Profits came out and ran off the Usos. And guess what they did, Brian? They all just fought off. Just fought off. Balor's laying in the ring. He's got to have internal hemorrhaging. You would have bought it by this point if he was spitting up blood. And now they play Reigns' music. And now, seriously, and by the way, there was a graphic at this point. The rematch that tonight, well, as we're recording this, Monday night on Raw, it's yesterday by the time you folks hear this, Charlotte versus Nia Jax, the rematch. I'm already DVRing it.
Nia Jax.
Her too.
You're going to watch it? I don't know. It'd be fun to watch it live again on the show.
Well, I came with my DVR up here in my office.
Oh, that's true.
Well, we'll work it out, but we got to see this.
Yes.
Because let's see what's going to set up. Is anybody going to set off a powder keg or are they going to be powder puffs? Anyway, so Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman come in the ring. The people are now that didn't want to do anything about it to begin with. Medical people and referees, they're checking on Finn Balor now that the damage has been done. I've been hammered multiple times with steel stairs by two giant Samoan guys, so he's a little sore. And then they do the introductions. And then they start the match. And it worked. God damn it. Oh. I know it's a classic age-old wrestling angle for some heel to come out and fucking do some kind of damage to a babyface before his championship match. But then he doesn't want to give up the opportunity and forfeit, so he fights on with the damage, right? That's old as the hills. However, this was past felonious assault and nobody was even trying to stop it. And then they go through in-ring introductions and it looks so bizarre to the viewer who's wanting something to make sense and doesn't just accept the way that wrestling's been done for the last 10 years or whatever. Anyway, after the introductions, the match starts and they go less than 3 minutes and go to a break. So this has been entrances, angle, introductions. They finally get started with this match and they go to a break with less than 3 minutes into it. When Finn Balor's entrance started, they had 25 minutes on the air and they came back from this break with 10 minutes left tops on the show. So Finn Balor finally beaten senseless with stairs by two Samoans. Shit kicked out of him through most of this match by Roman Reigns. Made a comeback, hit the double foot stomp off the top and got a 2 count on Reigns. And then Roman Reigns kicked out, rolled over on top of him, punched the mat in the vicinity of Finn Balor's head several times, and then just put a front face lock on him and choked him out. And that was it. So it was a great false finish. And he just rolled over and he was doing the supposed ground and pound where the forearm goes close enough by the head and hits the mat that he thinks you'll buy it, but you won't because the camera angle clearly shows it's bullshit. And then he actually just put a front face lock on him and wrenched back and choked him out. And that was the end of that.
Sure.
And now are you jealous?
No. Now I'm glad I didn't watch it. I think to most people, SmackDown is not a palatable show.
I don't think it goes down well. I don't think it tastes good. And I think that's indicative of our entire broken food system, Brian. Do you know that our food system is fundamentally broken and it's making us sick? And do you know that the people at Uprising Food are fixing that? Folks, when you think about a broken food system, think about the people at Uprising Food. Uprising's mission is to liberate all of us from a broken food system that is stealing our health. That's their mission in life. They're our new friends here. Uprisingfood.com here at the program. They want to liberate us from a broken food system, and they've cracked the code on healthy bread. And I'm going to tell you what, the amazing amount of fiber that this bread and these chips that they are marketing have, it's amazing. It's good for gut health. I was reading the packaging.
And protein.
And we don't get enough fiber and things for gut health. There's only 2 net carbs per serving in this healthy bread, 6 grams of protein, 9 grams of fiber. It's amazingly difficult to make a good tasting, healthy bread like this. And I guarantee you, folks, when you taste this stuff, you're going to be shocked. But they cover paleo, clean keto, simple, low carb, high fiber, dairy-free, grain-free lifestyles. They've made prebiotic fiber delicious. Imagine what it tasted like before.
Yuck.
And they've got a patent-pending breakthrough in psilocybin husk activation.
The husk?
Psychedelic?
They're going to activate the husk?
Well, wait a minute. No, it's not psilocybin. I'm sorry. Maybe that's why I came down so quickly. It's psyllium. They've got a patent-pending breakthrough in psyllium husk activation that makes fantastic digestive health absurdly easy. It's positively ludicrous what you're going to find with these fine products. All the Uprising products are baked with real superfood ingredients: almonds, MCT oil, apple cider vinegar, egg white, psyllium husk, and olive oil. I know at least 2 of those things are edible. Uprising
they're all
is
edible. They're all
edible.
They're
okay,
all
this
edible.
just in. Every single thing you can consume in these products. Uprising has absolutely nailed the taste factor to the wall on these things, boy. To the wall. They've got the Freedom chips that taste like those old school rye chips that they used to make you eat in school.
They used to make you eat them?
Well, they kind of forced them on me, but hey, some people went willingly. Folks, I'm told about the people at Uprising Food. If a biohacker and a high-end farm market baker had a baby, it would be Uprising products. I'm not sure what it would taste like, that baby. But it would
No, you don't eat the baby. You don't eat the baby.
Don't eat the baby.
No.
I'm sorry, but I'll tell you what. No, in all seriousness, folks, the products from uprisingfood.com will prolong your life. I guarantee you personally that if you eat a piece of this stuff every day for the rest of your life, you'll feel like you're living forever. Right now, go to uprisingfood.com and use the code JCE to get $10 off the starter bundle. It's kind of like a mini trip to the grocery store minus all the unhealthy distractions and food and things. And they ship it directly to your door. That's uprisingfood.com. Use my code JCE to get $10 off your order. Make sure your gut health is in good shape and eat healthy and consume mass quantities of these fine food-related things.
We've become a big fan of it here in the house. Got into a little bit of trouble because of it the other day, but a fine product.
What? No, certainly she was able to find toilet paper.
That's not what I'm saying. First of all, it's a fine edible product. Let me stress that.
Yes. You consume it like you do food.
But it shows up. It's a little box, and I'm looking at it, and it says bread, and I'm thinking, do I cook this? What is this? And you open it up, and no, it's a fresh loaf of their bread. And where I got into trouble was I wanted to try it, but I wanted to try what it would taste like thin as well as thick. So I cut at the top thin, and I kind of went down, and it got really thick at the end. So everyone else who wanted to try it after me, they kind of had a messed up slice. But I liked it.
So you couldn't just do the same thing that you did, but upside down and cut it off even so that the children could have even bread-related products?
I didn't think I had to do that. I thought someone else in the house could handle that.
Well, they didn't know that.
Do I have to do everything?
You have to do everything. They're children, for heaven's sake.
And I wanted to get away from it as fast as I could because I was going to eat it all.
Well, then that's a bad thing for a parent to do. You can't eat all the children's food. Try it out on them first. See what happens. 2 or 3 days later, if they're okay, then you jump right in. Uprisingfood.com. Code JCE, $10 off.
Give it a try. Speaking of the children, Jim, did you watch Rampage on Friday night?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.